fuck 12, fuck swat. Buzzing all the tails out the box. I just hit a lick with the box. Had to put the stick in the box.
Welcome back to my channel, guys. So for today's video, today, if you're new to this channel, my name is Laurie, and on this channel, I keep it 100. If you're not subscribed, please don't forget to tap on the subscribe button, and don't forget to smash on that like button. With that being said, today is story time. I'm going to be letting you know my experience in prison. Community corrections, DOC, whatever you want to call it. But yes, honey, your girl's been to prison, okay? My first time, my last time, and my forever last time going to prison. I've been to prison twice for the same crime. I didn't comply the second time when they let me out on parole, so I had to go back and finish off my time. I've been to jail prior to that, for some minor shit. Let me clarify, when I mean minor shit, traffic tickets, failure to appear, joyriding in a stolen car. Like, I wasn't in deep trouble, but I was in trouble. That does play a huge role of the way my lifestyle used to be. I was just running amok. I was running the streets, and yeah. And that's where it all starts. Before my prison sentence, I was incarcerated a couple of times for some minor bullshit. At 16, I was joyriding in a car with a crush I had. They put me in jail. I didn't comply with probation. Mind you, when you don't comply with probation, that shit just don't go away. That shit catches up to you later in time. But my prison sentence, when I first went to prison, I was like, oh no. I went to court and I thought I was only looking at probation that day. Oh my God. 2003, I went to jail on this case. The drug use, my appearance was not healthy at all. Let me clarify. Before I went to prison, I was doing a lot of drugs. I was doing the C. And I do have a full video on that. It's a long video, but it really gets into depths of what I was doing and what my life was. But my appearance, you can see my bones, like, didn't look the same at all. And I never took pictures, so I can't share any photos with you. I look like a skeleton walking with skin, dead ass. Like I said, I've been to prison twice for the same crime. The first time they put me in prison for 1 year. Then they let me out on parole for 6 months. I didn't comply at all. Like, I told them, let me do my time because I'm not going to comply. So they let me out anyways. I said, okay. So I didn't comply. The second time I went in, I went for 18 months. And it's a lot, guys. It's a lot to handle. Hey, prison is hard, but prison can also change your life. And then they caught up to me. I went back to prison in 2004. I went to court. And they said, oh, they go 2 years with a year tail. Freaking heart just like. At that very moment, I didn't know what to do. My heart was just beating out of my freaking chest. All I can think and say, what? I was so freaking furious. I was like, oh my God. 2 years? Because I've only done like 20 days, 15 days, 30 days. But these were some years. This is time of my life that is going to be behind bars. Time lost from freedom. Locked up. And I don't have no control. I wasn't afraid. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I felt. I was more focused on like, oh man, I'm not going to get high. Because I was getting high then. Oh man, I'm not going to be free so I could do what I want. That's all I was worried about. Before you go to prison, you have to sit in jail. You're in jail for about 10 to 15 days or something like that. But then when they started packing all the girls up, they're calling everybody's name. When I heard my name, Romero, pack it up, I was like, going to DOC. I was like, my heart was sinking, guys. It really was, because I was like, fuck, man. But when you get to prison, you just don't get to a room. You got to go through a whole freaking diagnostic, through a whole intake assessment. They ask you questions. They ask you if you're pregnant, if you have any allergies, if you have any health issues, sicknesses. They ask you a lot of shit. And that process can take up to anywhere between 5 hours to 24 hours, just depending on how packed they are. Before they ask you all these questions, you're sitting in a room for like 5 hours, just sitting there. People keep going back. I don't know how people just keep going back all their lives. It's like, damn, why would you want to keep putting yourself through that? Oh my God. It's all day long. You hear shackles, doors closing, officers talking, people yelling, people getting aggressive. People yelling out saying they're hungry, they're hurting, they need their medications. Oh my God. It's a lot to deal with. Like, they start asking you, do you have any allergies? Are you sick? Do you have any mental health issues? Do you have AIDS? What is your gender? They strip you out. You cough, you spread your butt cheeks, you lift up your boobs, wiggle your ears, open your mouth, open your snatch, cough, bend over, up your feet, wiggle your toes. I mean, they want to see every freaking part of your asshole, color and all. I got through that. They have you sit in this room by yourself because they want to see how you act, if you're depressed, suicidal, and if you're able to cope being locked up. So they leave you in this room and they monitor you for about 2 weeks until they stick you in population. Then they try to figure out where you're going to go. You get a case manager and all that shit. It was the longest fucking 2 weeks that I've ever spent in a small room. It's a 23-hour lockdown. The only thing you get is your meals 3 times a day, but you eat inside of your room and you get your shower. You go out of your room, go to your right, the shower's right there. Once you're done, you get back in your room. Your toilet and your bed is in the same room. It's a small room, but they want to monitor you, and then they try to figure out where you're going to go. Like I said, it's stressful when you first go through this whole process, and why people keep going back, I don't know. A lot of people, when they go into prison, they have a lot of time to think. Time is all they have. But why would you want to keep going back through those same processes? Because every time you go back to prison, you got to keep going through the same shit every time. The only thing you get is your 3 meals a day, a shower, and a pencil and a paper. That's it. That's all you get. You don't get to play like card games. You don't get shit like that. Because it's all a test. They want to see how you act, how you are. It was just like the worstest time of my life being in locked up, because you're locked down 23 hours a day. So I got through that. And then when they put me in population, you have to go through steps. They're all units. So unit 1 and 2 is like more freedom. You know, you get to go do more things. You get to work on the outside. You get to go to school. You get to cook. You get to go to college. Like, you get to do a lot of things. And it's built like a college. Denver Department of Corrections, DOC period, the one in Pueblo and the one that's here in Denver, it's like built like a college. It's a bunch of like dorms, you know, and they look like colleges. It doesn't even look like prison. But once you get out into the population, the time, it gets a little easier because you get to do more things. But you're still locked up. You still can't do what you want. You got rules, but you're all blocked in. You can't get out. Like, there's fences all the way around you. But you don't see the fences because all the buildings. And then they got unit 1 and 2, which is like a lot of freedom. You could go get a job and everything, and you could go work on the outside and shit. And they call that easy time. Unit 3, where they put people when they come from that 23-hour lockdown, they put people in unit 3, and they figure out where you're going to go after that. Unit 5 is where you have a dog and you train dogs. Like, it's your pet. And then when it's ready to be adopted and you trained it, it goes out and then you get another one. So it's kind of like a job for you. It's a job. When you're in unit 1, 2, 3, and 5, you got a year and you don't get any write-ups or get sent to the hole, you do get 10 days per month. You do 8 months on a year, and that's what your good time. Unit 6 is mental health. Unit 4, I think unit 4 is like suicidal watch. I think that's what that's for. And anyways, I went to unit 3 and then I was in unit 1. So I stood in unit 3, and unit 3 was like the worstest shit. So when I say the worstest shit, unit 3, sometimes the women never get moved because they're either always in trouble, they see you messing around with other women, and so them people are always watched all day long. Like I said, it's like a big ass dorm, and you get to sit in the pod, but everybody in the pod is either messing around with each other, having sex, giving tattoos, like they're just doing the most, smoking. And it's like, when you have a roommate that's doing the most, they want you to watch their back, and it's just like, I'm watching my own back. I came here to do my own effing time. I'm not here to do my time, your time, and everybody else's time. I'm here to do my time and get the F out. That's it. Period, point blank. Them girls in there don't give a rat's ass about you. They don't give 2 shits about you. They don't care if you stay, live, die. Who cares? They don't care. So you got to have your own back at all times. There's different Department of Corrections. When I was here in Denver Department of Corrections, they had transferred me after a while. I think it was like the 6th month. I got transferred to Pueblo, and it's called PMC, Community Corrections. When I was in DOC, Denver Community Corrections, I seen so much shit happening. People giving tattoos, women making out. fondling each other, bitches fighting with one another, trying to say, this is my bitch, no, that's my bitch. They fight over food. Oh my God, it's like fucking kindergarten there. It's like freaking people fight for the dumbest shit. And I was like, oh my God. But as long as you stay to yourself, and that was like me. When I first got there and people were looking at me, they were like, damn, fresh meat, she's bad, she's bomb, you know, stuff like that. Bitch, I had to lock down about 13 times and bang it out with these women because I'm not nobody's bitch. I don't play that fuck shit. I don't care who you are, what you do, who you fuck, who you bang. I don't give a shit. But you will respect me, period. Okay? Don't get me wrong. When I was high, like I would kiss women just for fun, you know? I was to be with a woman, I'm going to be with a woman because I want to. Not on some fucking jail shit, you know? So like I was like, don't play with that fuck shit. Like, if I just kiss women for fun, don't play with me. A lot of women, when you first get there, they're like, fresh meat, she's fine, you know? Or they could be like, they just leave you alone because you're not their type. But I was in a category where people where women were like, damn, she's gonna be mine. You got me all fucked up. So you either lock down with these bitches, and lock it down is you lock down and you fight. And if you lose, you become their woman. I ain't gonna become nobody's motherfucking woman. Cause if I was gonna be bi, I'm gonna be bi on my terms, you know, not on somebody else's shit. I had to bang it out with these women. And I made sure I wasn't gonna lose, honey. I made sure of that shit. But after a while, like I gained respect because of who I am. Like, I'm a nice person. I'm humble. I'm very sweet. I also have a temper too. Like, don't fuck with me. I'm not the one to be fucked with, you know. It's either a respect thing or you just leave me the fuck alone type shit. Everybody started leaving everybody alone once they got to know you as a person. Oh my God. I was like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of this Denver corrections facility because it's like a playground. It's like a child's playground, literally. Everybody fights over stupid shit. Everybody's doing tattoos, and then if they're doing a tattoo and then they're in your room, I had a roommate and she did tattoos. If the cops come in and they find shit, it's like you get in trouble for it too, type shit. So I was like, oh no. So every time they did their tattoo shit, I would fucking leave my room. I was like, I'm not gonna be blamed for something I didn't do. But when you're in the room, they want you to always watch out for them and shit, you know, like looking out, standing by the door type shit. I'm not going to be nobody's bitch like that, no. Once I got to Unit 1, and I think I got to Unit 1 very quickly. You work there for 60 cents a day. I don't know how much it is now. But you work, and I worked in the kitchen. So like I served food, made food, everything like that. When you work and you don't get in trouble, you move levels. I got to level 1 very, very quickly, probably like a month after. Usually it takes about 6 months to a year for anybody to move to Unit 1. It takes a long time because 1, they don't have that much space. For 2, it's a waiting list, so you're by seniority. It's like first come, first serve type of shit. But like I didn't get in trouble. I worked out a lot and I just minded my own business. And once I got to Unit 1, it was like more kind of laid back type of shit. Anytime you're locked down, you got to go to school, you got to work, you got to do something. You can't just be relaxing. You got to do something when you're there. That's why when you come out of jail, you have to get a job. And it's mandatory for you to get a job and for you to do right for yourself. That's why they prepare you and you work when you're in DOC. But I seen so much shit, like so much fights. But anyways, when I first got into Unit 1, you don't know who your roommate is. You don't know nothing about anybody. You don't know anything about anybody. You don't know nothing about their case. And they don't really speak about their case until they really, really get to know you and they trust you. But most likely someone else tells you. But my roommate was there for murder. Mine was there for trespassing. She murdered her child. She killed her kid. She gave her kid alcohol. Drove around like 3 states or 3 countries or something like that. How she didn't get caught, I don't know. Went back to her house and blew her whole trailer park up with the baby inside. And for me to be in a room locked down with her, I mean, we can go in and out of our rooms, but there's like, I didn't even know who the hell it's like I was sleeping with the enemy. I found out who my roommate was and her crime. I was like, what the fuck? Why would they be putting somebody with a low crime in a room with somebody that done the most? It doesn't make any sense, but they put you in there no matter what. They don't care. They really don't. The only way you don't get moved out to different facilities, if you have health issues where it requires that you need to see the doctors a lot, that's the only time they keep you in this facility here. They don't have specialist doctors in other facilities. So they make sure they keep a space for you here so that you could do your time here. But Denver it's hard. It's rough. It's rough in any prison. If you're pretty much healthy, you get moved out. It was the craziest shit that I experienced. And when I found out, I was always sleeping with one eye open. Seriously. Because I don't know what the hell she's capable of. Like, it's crazy. And then after that, I started finding out what everybody was there for. And it was like all murder. People murdering their kids, their husbands. It was a lot. It was an experience that I went through that I know that I would never want to go through or see again. Once I got to Unit 1, I started meeting girls and stuff. And I noticed like a lot of girls didn't have money. They didn't have people coming to see them. My dad was alive back then and he would come and see me. I miss my daddy. But he would come and see me and stuff. He would make the drive all the way out here. Like he would send me money and stuff. It's hard when somebody's locked up. It's really hard being locked up because you're not just locked up. It's your loved ones that are locked up with you because they don't have you there physically. You're not there to talk to them. They have to send you money. They have to stop doing what they're doing. If you have kids, they got to raise your children. It's really hard. Luckily, I didn't have kids for anybody to raise, you know? So like I went in there and I didn't have baggage, luggage or anything. A few girls I connected with, you know, they didn't have like money. They didn't have nobody to, you know, give them food or to buy them food, to give them stamps. So like I would always make sure that I add extra on my canteen. Canteen is when you can order stuff, food, you know, paper, hygiene, all that stuff. So like I would order a lot, you know, for these girls and put a care package together. Between 3 to 5 care packages I would always put together. I would just give them out and then other girls started noticing. And they were like, hey, every time I got my canteen, every time you get your canteen, everybody's like this, like a fucking vulture, like following you type shit. I couldn't even get my bag without being watched like a hawk. They want to see how much you got, what you got. Nobody says nothing to you until you get your canteen. And then right when you get your canteen and you go back to your room, no cap, you're like a celebrity to them. Everybody and their mama is at your door. Just like, what are you doing, girl? Like trying to conversate and shit. Trying to finesse their way in. I'm like, oh no, I don't even know you for 1. For 2, I don't have nothing for you. For 3, what the fuck you doing here? And boy, just let me tell you, that is like the annoyingest shit ever. You know the fucked up thing about it is that these people have money. They got people on the outside sending them money. They got their little jailhouse hustle. They got the little bitches on the side taking care of them. They're just a bunch of users, let me just tell you. And they're greedy as fuck. But them type of people, I won't help. They think everything is entitled to them. And I'm just like, no, I'm a hood girl, so I know the motherfucking drills. Like, I know your guys' tricks. Y'all ain't about to pull one over on me. But that shit used to annoy the shit out of me. Like, you have to talk to them like that because if you don't, they're going to try to punk you. And ain't nobody going to punk this. Oh, no, honey. I'm a Leo, so I'm very dominant. I'm not saying I'm bad, but I could hold my own, you know. I could take care of me. But I was like, y'all got to move. Y'all got to move. You even know who you are. So, like, they would leave and stuff. And so after a while, you start gaining that respect in prison because when they know that you're not a punk and you're not going to be bitched out, like, then they kind of back up off you. You know, I always helped people and stuff. They were so grateful, you know, very grateful. You can tell when there's a user or when there's not a user. I don't know. Prison was hard, you know, it was hard, but it also helped me change my life. It really did. When you're in prison, you have a lot of time to think of a lot of things. Sometimes people learn from their mistakes. They learn themselves. They just have a lot to think of. They think about their kids, but it's like you got so much time on your hands just to sit and think. People go back and forth to prison and they're locked up behind bars. They start thinking about their kids. They start thinking about how they fucked up. They get into the Lord. They start reading the Bible. But then when you get out, it's like you don't forgot all about that. So when you're free, there's some people that do right and they want to better themselves. But a lot of people that land right back into the fucking same place that they were before they went to prison. If you're living a fast life and you're doing the most, prison or jail is where you will land up. If you're going to go to prison to live and learn from your mistakes. Don't go to prison and preach and do all of this and then get out and then fuck up all over again. Don't be a hypocrite is what I'm trying to say. Be a great role model. Try to teach people what you've learned and what not to do. Prison can save your life, but you could also be controlled. If you can control your mind, you can control your life. A lot of people are weak-minded, and then they don't learn. So they just keep going back, either because they don't have family or they just don't have anybody in their corner. If I didn't have the family and the stability, that would get me more hyped up and more motivated to want to do right for myself so that I wouldn't be landing back in that place. There's people that have family, they got significant others, they got people to go home to. I didn't get that chance. I didn't have that choice. I had to do everything on my own. But I was determined and I was motivated to do right because I knew I never wanted to step a foot back in that damn prison ever again. I didn't get out of prison and then I had somewhere to go like that. There's a lot of people that do have that opportunity. But me, I got out. I had to figure out my whole life. I got a job right away, and I wanted to do better for myself. I want to help teach people to make better choices, to make better decisions for themselves. There's so much more to life than just getting in trouble, getting high, and doing the most. Situations, don't hang out with people that are going to be doing the most because you'll be caught up, and then guess what? You'll catch a case, and you'll be behind bars and doing some time. And you got to sit and think, the people that you got in trouble with, you think they're going to help you out? You think they're going to send you money? Hell's to the no. Always think twice about your life decisions and choices. And keep in mind, there's always a consequence behind your actions. Tomorrow's never promised, and you may not get that second chance. You spend all this time in prison, and then they get out and they go do the same shit, the same bad things. It's like, why would you go through prison and do all that time, go out and do the same fucking shit that you went in there for the first time? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Y'all spent so much time in prison to think, and then when they're in prison, they're like, damn, why did I mess up? Why did you come back? You know, why did you fuck up to come back? It's stupid. But I learned my lesson. Like, I used to smoke cigarettes, I used to smoke that shit, sniff that shit. Like, I did a lot of things. Like, I done those bad things, and I kept telling myself, no, fuck that. I'm motivated. When I get out, I'm not gonna do none of that shit. Fuck that. You know, I want to live a good life. First step, you got to dismiss all the negative people that you hung around with. When you surround yourself with positive people, your life will be so much positive. But if you go back to the same old shit and hang out with the same people, there's going to be temptations. I didn't have temptations, and I thank God that, like I say, there's weak-minded people, and then there's strong-minded people. I've always been so strong, and I'm so grateful that God gives me that strength. Because, boy, if I wasn't, I would probably be back in my same old habits. But I'm very afraid of drugs now because they're so laced with everything. You know, and I have a mindset like, oh my God, if I do drugs again, my heart will stop or I'll die. And my son needs me. He needs me to be here. He needs me to raise him. Like, he needs me. Plus, my son excites me. Like, he gives me so much motivation. And, you know, I'm so determined to do better than I did yesterday. So it's like, I'm so motivated in life. And I'm so happy to wake up every morning knowing that I'm not going to be sick. I won't be feeling guilty. I won't be broke. I won't be feeling irritated, depressed, mad, sad, pissed off for no damn reason. Once I did my DLC time there, move you further, like to like PMC. There's other DLC places. And I went to PMC. PMC is more of a private correctional facility. You get placed there when you got a short sentence. And you've been doing good, so you'll be out soon. Because you don't go to places like that unless you do good. So I got moved out there probably like 8 months into my prison sentence. I got sent to PMC. You have to go through when you get there, you have to go through a whole assessment of questions, but not the diagnostic. You're not locked down for 23 hours. They just got to figure out what unit to house you in. So once I got put into a room, so PMC is more laid out like dorms. There's levels. There's like 8 to a room, 6, 4, and 2. I went from 8 all the way down to 2. I didn't like to be housed with 8, 6, or 4 women to a dorm. But you don't get to pick and choose where you go. Because same thing, when you get your canteen, everybody becomes your friend and they want to know what you got. Their friends want to know. That's like the shit that I don't like, is when you're in DOC, none of these ladies will talk to you. You don't know them. You don't see them. But when you get your canteen, they're like fucking vultures. They are like vultures. They're like fucking roaches. You drop a piece of crumb, they're like all up in your face type shit. Like crack carpet divers. And they're like, oh, eat your ass, your snatch, whatever you want me to do. Yeah. But be mind you, they got money, they got canteen, they have it all, but they just want more. They're doing way too much for my fucking mindset. I stood in these levels for about a month each. Usually it takes longer, but I do so good when I'm locked up, I guess. Like, I don't break rules, I don't get write-ups, I don't get sent to the hole. I work, I make sure I do all my stuff, my chores, everything. I got moved down quick to a 2-dorm, and that was very nice. When you have a bunch of roommates, they all don't listen. It's like kindergarten. They don't respect you as a person. If you're not giving them anything, they don't want to hear what you have to say. When there's 2 people to a room, it's a respect thing. And it makes the time more easy. When I was in Denver Community Corrections, oh my God, I was in a room. I just started thinking about this. When I was in a 4-dorm room, I was at roommates with a lady that she was so high on Thanksgiving. She had a baby that was 3 months old. The baby was 2 or 3 months old. She grabbed a turkey tail pan, put a blanket, put her sleeping baby in there, put it in the fucking oven. This is horrific. Set her 2-month-old baby inside of the pan, put it in the oven on 500. She nodded out. She was all high. Oh my God, that's horrific, guys. Be mind you, I went to prison for going into a motel that was under an investigation, drug trafficking. I caught a felony case like that. It wasn't a felony, it was a misdemeanor, but since I didn't comply with parole, I got a felony. I don't know how or why they put people with low crimes and high crimes together. The things that people are in prison for, like the stories, oh my God. I have so many prison stories of the person themselves telling me about their crime. If y'all are interested in listening to these types of stories, let me know and I will put that together. I've heard some horrific stories, but I think about them and I'm just like, damn, how can they do that to the baby? Like, how? A lot of women are in there for killing their kids or doing things bad to them. A lot. These babies don't have a voice. They don't. It's hard. When I listen to the stories, I'm like, oh my God, how can they bring a life? How can you be pregnant for 9 months or whatever and allow somebody to destroy your child? How? It's either women or men that destroy their own children, or they get involved with a significant other and they destroy their children. I don't get it. God bless them babies. God bless everybody. Oh my gosh. But anyways, I don't want to get into that because that I don't want to be, I'm very happy today and I don't want to be emotional. So I did my whole time and I seen a lot of shit. There was so much shit going on in prison. It's not even funny. It's so freaking crazy. Like I said, I've been through a lot of shit, guys, a lot. But I stand here today and I'm able to tell my story and I'm so grateful. Like, I am living to tell my story. I am a success story. I am, because I've been through abuse. I've been through not having a stable environment with parents to raise me with unconditional love. I've been homeless. I went through using drugs, being abused between 2 past relationships. These 2 pieces of shits didn't just try to abuse me. They tried to kill me multiple times. I've been through using drugs and trying to support my habit by having sugar daddies, becoming a stripper. This is why I always say never judge a book by its cover, because you don't know what their story is. But I'm a success story and I get to live to tell my story. But I did my time. So by 18 months into my prison sentence, my DOC case manager then sent me a letter. Said, you got 2 more weeks. And I was like, what? So they were letting me out early. It was an early release. I was like, are you sure you got the right person? There's no mistake. I was just like, oh my God. I did so good, I didn't get in trouble. And I was like, oh my God, I was so happy. But backing up, let me rewind. I went to PMC. About 2 months of me being at PMC, I had one of my sugar daddies that reached out to me. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I found you. And I was like, oh my God, my sugar daddy reached out to me. Like, he could support your girl. He started sending me $500 a week. And I accumulated all that money. Like, I was living large. You don't need that much money to be in prison. It's cheap to be in prison. But I was racking up my stacks because he didn't know that, you know. And that's why I said I feel so bad because, you know, using these sugar daddies, you know, it's hard. But when I got out, I told him, like, I have all this money and I appreciate you. I said, but I didn't use a lot of this money. He says, it's okay. Go ahead and keep it. So I was like, okay. I stood with my dad, but I also visited the guy. He started wanting to lick my feet and all that shit. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do all that. I just kind of cut him off because, mind you, I was straight-minded. I wasn't high or anything like that. The sugar daddies that I dealt with, they also loved my feet. And it was money, guys. It was money. So like you got to get paid somehow. So I lived good. When I was in prison, I was living good. I was living large. I was rich in fucking prison. I was rich. After I got that letter saying early release, I was so happy, but I was so motivated to get out and do good. And when I got out, they put me on fucking parole. I was like, son of a bitch. I don't want to be on parole. I just want to do my time. Well, they let me out. I only had 6 months left. I had a 3-year sentence and did 18 months the first time. When I didn't comply with parole, I got sent back for 6 months. And I was like, I don't want to be put on parole because me personally, I can't follow rules. Like I don't follow stipulations and all that shit. Like I'll do UAs all day, but they want you to be calling in, doing this, doing that. It's a lot when you got to go on parole. You got to pay money for classes to do UAs. It's a lot to deal with. But they have you doing that because they're trying to keep you occupied and busy, so you don't have any time to get in trouble. So when they let me out, I had 6 months left. I was doing so good. When I got a job at McDonald's on the second day, I got promoted to a graveyard manager because I did so freaking good on that first day. I boosted up to a manager position like that the second day. And they were like, we want you to be a night store manager. So I was like, okay. So I started doing good. And then I seen an old friend of mine and she was like, hey, what's up, girl? We should go out sometime. And that's all it takes. You got to learn how to say no, because if you don't, when you go back behind bars, do you think these people are going to be there for you? Hell's to the no. I went to a freaking bar with my friend and I drank. That next day I had a UA. Bam, bam. They were like, oh, Laurie, you got to come and turn yourself in. And I didn't. I just ran. You know what's so crazy? I have 4 more months left. I kept going to work every day. I kept living every day as if it was a normal day. Oh gosh, I was so scared because I thought every day was going to be my last day there, because I thought they were going to come and search for me at my job, but they never came. Because I got an apartment for myself and everything. So like I was paying my own rent and everything. I was at the bar and I was drinking. And I don't drink like that. But my friend, she took me and we were just having fun. And I don't know, I just felt something like, oh man, Laurie, you're going to be in trouble. The next day I had a UA. My parole officer wanted me to go turn myself in. I said, nope. About a couple of days later, my sister, she was looking out the window. She was like, oh my God, Laurie. And I go, what? She was like, there's freaking units all outside. And I go, what do you mean units? She goes, there's like cops everywhere. And I was like, what? And they were by my door. And I go, I didn't fucking murder nobody. I didn't kill nobody. Like, what the fuck? I felt in that moment like if I committed a huge ass crime. Right behind you. They came banging at my door and shit. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Dead ass serious. When I opened the door, they were like, oh, put your hands up. Put your hands up. I go, damn. Y'all are like 30 deep for me for criminal trespassing. And I got 4 months left. Like, what the heck? Didn't commit a big crime. They handcuffed me, shackled me, and threw me in the SUV. They locked me up, and they were like, oh, well, you're going to have to do 6 months. First, they wanted to give me a week in jail, and then they said, we're going to let you back out on parole. And I go, no, put me in jail. I don't want to do parole. I just want to be done, off of this shit. So I went to community corrections again for the second time to do the rest of my sentence. So I went through the whole jail system, and then like 10 days after that, they sent me back to PMC to do the remaining of my 6 months, but I only had to do 4 months on good time. DLC, I went to PMC, but I moved fast because of my history of being in prison already. Like when I was there, I did so good there that they just shipped me out to Pueblo. So I went to Pueblo and I did the remaining of my time there. Sugar Daddy didn't take care of me this time, but my daddy was there. I did the remaining of my time. Got out. Right when I got out, that first day of me getting out of prison, I went to a car wash and I got a job like that. About a week, I met my son's father. He didn't do drugs. So I basically surrounded myself with positive people. When I got out of prison, I didn't have any cravings. Didn't even have the urge or want to do drugs because he didn't. March 7th of 2007 is when I discharged. I caught my case in 2003 and I started doing jail time and prison time in 2004. I went through a lot of shit, seen a lot of shit, but if I didn't go to prison, I wouldn't be who I am today because prison did change me. It saved me from the whole drug lifestyle. It did. It made me come back to reality, and I wanted to change to be a better person for myself. Once I met my son's father, 3 months later, I got pregnant. Everything happens for a reason. There's sometimes things happen that's not in our control, that is not meant to be. And it didn't happen for a reason, because people do get raped and stuff. That's not for a reason. But maybe we're doing something in our lives that we gotta change. Talk to someone, speak up, and don't be afraid. I'm not saying I'm grateful that I went to prison because I lost time from freedom. But I'm grateful because now I can look back and be like, you know what, if I didn't go to prison, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be straight mindset. Like I don't know what my life would have been like. So like, I'm very grateful that I went through all of this shit. It was hard dealing with what I went through. And it took me a while to get out and find who I am and love myself completely and be at peace. But look at me now, like, I'm happy. I got a son that fully loves me, sincerely, genuinely loves me. Got a good support system. I see so many people and they have such huge family and a great support system. I got my son and my parents and all my beautiful followers. And that's all I need. My number one is my Lord. That man saved me. He gave me the strength, the motivation, the mindset, and the ability to be the best that I could be. He did. He saved me. Believe in the Lord, guys. Oh my God. That man is real. That man is good. And all I wanted is to just come and share with you guys my experience of being in DLC. What I went through, what I dealt with. This is not anything near of what I've seen, because I'm not going to talk about what I seen, I don't talk about that shit. I just wanted to let you guys know my experience of me being in there. This thing can really bring a person down. It can make you go crazy. I mean, absolutely freaking insane. If you don't control your mind. If you control your mind, you can get a lot of goodness out of being locked up. If your life is not where it should be or where it's supposed to be, and you go into jail, it could really save you. It can. But you gotta accept and you gotta want the help. Sometimes people get out and they do good. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get out and they do worse. So a lot of people do drugs going in, and then they're still doing drugs inside of prison. But when they come out, they try to get that same high. But they also got to remember their body is different. Immune system is completely different. Their tolerance to drugs is not as high as it used to be. A lot of people die. They have overdoses by taking too much. And being clean that long, that's like an overdose waiting to happen. It's very scary. But anyways, I just wanted to come in and share with you guys my prison experience. I just wanted to say, and what I'm more grateful for, having the second chance at life. You know, everybody deserves a second chance, but when people keep doing the same thing over and over, you kind of question yourself. You keep going back to prison, why do I keep helping you? People become very selfish. I just knew I didn't want to be in that category, but I am just so grateful that I could sit here and talk about my story and not really laugh about it, but just say, yeah, I did it and I became a better person, you know? And I'm just so grateful that I'm past all of that shit. And I could look back and have these memories and talk about it and not have any temptations of doing bad, you know? I'm just grateful. And I'm so grateful that all of y'all are here to share these times with me and get to know me on a deeper level. But anyways, I truly appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for all the love and support. Please don't forget to give my videos a like, because it does help my channel grow. And yeah, I wish I was an advanced editor where I can take you guys through the prison halls with me. Like little clips of me walking through hallways and stuff like that. I don't know how to do shit like that, because it would probably be more interesting. But anyways, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in with me and just listening to my story. If you guys like my life stories, please let me know, and I will upload more stories just like this. I don't have more prison stories, but I have times when I did in jail, like jail. Or just my life story, because I've been through a whole lot. Like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go through all of this. I'm such a strong, independent, bright, I like to say beautiful woman. A lot of people may not agree with me being beautiful, but to me, I am. And I have a good heart, and that's all that matters. But anyways, I love you guys so much. I'm going to leave a link down in the description. That will take you to all my social media platforms, as well as all the vendors. With that being said, I love you guys so much. God bless and happy holidays. Bye. Remember, don't let others tell you what you can't do. Don't let the limitations of others limit your vision. If you can remove yourself, doubt yourself, and believe in yourself, you can achieve what you never thought was possible. Always believe in yourself, because no one else will.